Hi, I'm Cindy from BeDancewear.com, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to take a basic circle skirt that is a little longer and shorten it up and change the color on the band. I was inspired by the girls over at PromotionDance.com. They were giving great tips. I kind of got sucked in and just kept watching it. Even though I'm not trying out to be a professional cheerleader like the two of them were. They have 15 years experience in the NFL, the NBA. It's Brittany and Jessica over there, and they have some great tips. So even if you're not going to be a professional cheer, you might want professional dance. Check out what they have to say. It's common sense stuff with little insider tips. They've talked to the coaches. They've tried out. They know those little tips about how other girls maybe made it, things they did. But I was inspired because I know you want to look different when you're trying out for something. You want to stand out from the crowd. There's a lot of girls out there, so you want to make sure and get sassy. Just look when you walk in the door, they're like, whoa, who's that? And they notice you. They might not say it out loud, but they're subconscious. If you're not wearing the same thing that every girl's wearing, you didn't just go to the store and pick up that basic thing, but you took it and you made it a little different, gave it a little bling, depending on what you're trying out for. If it's kind of thing that wants bling or not bling, you don't have to add rhinestones. But if you want to find out how to make a simple circle skirt into a little shorty skirt with a two-tone band, this is the video for you. So in this particular one, I've taken a halter bra. If you don't want it to be halter, I like it because it shows a lot of the back. You can even sew it off so that the straps aren't tied and there's nothing moving around. What I've done is I've taken a piece of paper and I have put the edge of the bra there and I've traced the front. But what I've also done is stretched it out. So if the fabric was flat, how would it be? So I stretched all that out. Then what I did is I figured out if we cut everything away, and that's the bra folded in half. This is a fold here. I'm going to write fold. Then pull it away. This is the part that I want blue. So what I'm going to do now is that is my pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the blue and I'm going to put this on there. I'm going to make sure and leave a space so I can sew it down and a little extra on the top. I'm going to cut about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 an inch. But I'm just going to remember that that's what I cut. And go up, go across, and circle around, giving myself that extra space. If you're not comfortable just cutting, then trace it out. And so there will be that piece. That piece will end up going across here, and then we'll be pinching that down. So the next step would be to pin this all in place. Now what you'll want to do is, I always like to fold it in half so you know you're getting the center. Make sure this is folded in half. Fold this in half and then open it up and place it on there. Now don't forget, we've gone 1/4 of an inch extra all around. So we'll place this one first and then we'll pin this one. And before I ever sew anything, I definitely unfold it, make sure it's even, measure it. That's where this tool will come in place, and then you can measure and make sure everything's right. Now I'm going to show you how to cut the ruffle. We'll cut the ruffle. Like, just take a long strip of fabric and determine how tall do you want that ruffle. So let's say you want it 1 inch. I don't know if you can see this, but if I figure 1 inch, then I want some seam allowance also, which means about 2.5 inches tall is how I want that. Cut that strip. I'll cut that even. So what it'll do is it'll give you a long strip that you can then gather up on the machine. Now don't forget you have some extra space here, and before you sew it down, you'll want to take a look at it pinned on there and make sure that's what you're looking for. So to make the ruffle, what I've done is I have this long strip, and first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to sew this edge inside out, and then we're going to take that and turn it inside. You might want to sew a straight strip down here, or what I like to do, the easiest way I've found to gather something, and I'm doing this before I put it on the top, is I'm going to have it flat. You can put a bunch of pins in there to make sure, but to do nice even gathers, from this point to here, I'll take my thumb, fold it under, make sure this gather ends up right at this edge here, and the beginning of it is the beginning of right here. You pick decisions, decide how big do you want this ruffle. So this presser foot, I have it so it just tucks right at the beginning of that. So then I'm going to sew straight. As soon as this ruffle gets to the beginning edge on the presser foot of right before the needle is going to go in, then I will take one more pinch, have this end up at the same spot, this edge of it end up at the same spot. So till I get there, same thing again. And then you're just going to repeat this. And you can do a long strip of it. So I've calculated I need 12 inches of this to cover the blue part that I want. So once you think you're about there, just go ahead and measure it. And then that way, let's say you have this whole thing gathered up. Let's go ahead and do it. We'll make it easy. That way you don't have to sit and calculate how long does this need to be? How many ruffles can I put in? If you're doing it and you end up with just a little pinch at the end, a spot that you're going to sew up. Let's see. Almost there. Okay, so let's see. Yep, we're just almost at 12 inches. So now I don't have it quite all the way sewn. I'm going to take that edge. I'm going to fold it in. I'm going to close it up. And now what I can do, you'll want to cut all these threads when you're doing it for yourself. You don't want to get them caught up inside. So now we just have a little bit left. And we'll do that last ruffle, close it up. Now before you sew this on, you can trim this away so it's even. It'll make it easier sewing on, keeping that stitch. The biggest main concern you're going to want with this is that this ruffle is even. Wherever you're sewing, that you keep it even. Because if this line's off at all, when you go to sew it on, then the ruffle's going to go taller and smaller throughout the whole thing. So just pay attention to that. Make sure that that stays even. And an easy way to do it is when you're doing these pinches, you can put a piece of tape right here and know that as you're going, as long as that tape's there, your needle's in the same spot, it'll be a nice even line. Last one of the ruffle top. So on this, from the back side, I've tucked the ruffle, the raw edges inside, and then I have zigzagged this whole thing down here. You want to make sure that it stays flat in the front, and you want a thread that matches. Now, on this next part, what I did is I pinned it all down. You want to definitely take it, make sure everything matches up from the right to the left. Otherwise, you're going to have it looking all wonky. One side will look bigger than the other. And then I've taken it and I've pinned it, and then I've just zigzagged the edge down. I had it all pinned up. And then once you're done with that, then you're going to go to the centerpiece and you're going to pin it, make sure it's folded in half, and gather that up. And then you're going to end up with a top with a ruffle like that and a blue bodice. You can do it plain and just have this match. You can even take that edge and fold it under. It's completely up to you, but since this is going to be covered in rhinestones, that I felt like flat with the zigzag is the best. You won't see any of it, and that way you don't have any weird lumps or anything there. It's really that easy to put this top together.
Thank you for watching our video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure and click here to subscribe, because we're going to have some amazing DIY videos coming out. And if you want to get our free complete dance costume DIY guide, click right here, or go to bdancewear.com/DIY guide. And lastly, if you have any questions or ideas for future videos, please leave it in the comments below. Thanks again for watching our video, and remember, be original, be colorful, be dancewear.com.